Tuckerdale here doing a review of my AR-15. This is a one that I assembled years ago. I've had it for about 10 years now. Hasn't been this exact setup for 10 years, like the handguard and the weapon light are fairly new, but it has a M4 profile barrel, 16 inches, so it has the M203 grenade launcher cut, which doesn't really matter. It's kind of a thick, heavy profile barrel for what it is. It's a nice, accurate barrel. Has a standard carbine length gas system with a four-prong flash hider. I just got on eBay for pretty cheap. Works great. Reduces flash well. Was like 12, 13 bucks. It works better than the standard A2, and I think it gives the rifle a better look. So it's a win-win in both scenarios. Cheap and it works well. On the rifle, I have it set up for left-handed use because I'm left-handed, so I put the Olight weapon light. I bought this light when they had a really good sale on it, so they gave me this light and two small, like, really keychain lights with it. Came with the pressure pad, so it has momentary on and constant on, as well as flash. The SOS or strobe feature. I don't know if it has SOS actually. I know it has a strobe feature, but I don't worry about the strobe feature that much. It is cool to have, but it's kind of distracting when you actually want to use the light. I mean, it might be good in a self-defense scenario, but as far as everyday use and like at nighttime, it is kind of distracting. Right here, this is the Strike Industries AFG angled foregrip. I don't know if that's what they call it, but it's from Strike Industries. It got some nice portion up here that can bite into like some railing or something. If I didn't have the weapon light on it, it would work a little better because you could just brace it up against it, but the weapon light kind of gets in the way of that. But it's pretty comfortable. Like, this is how I grab it, like that or like that, and I find it to be very comfortable. It has this nice area here that you can just beer can it like that if you want, or thumb over bore like I like to do, and I find it to be very comfortable. This is a 12-inch SLR Rifleworks Intrepid series handguard. It's like their first gen handguard. It was one of the first, if not the first, handguards they released. If you look here, this is the old attachment method right here. Now they came out with that new, better, more enhanced attachment method, but this works pretty well. These two bolts just go through the barrel nuts, keep it from rotating, as well as anti-rotation tabs. It's free float. Came in the standard black. I painted it spray painted the whole rifle this green color. It's not OD green. That's what I was kind of going for. And once I started painting the rifle, I realized that it was not OD green, and it took a while, but it kind of grew on me. Now I've got a whole 50 shades of OD green thing going on. As far as the basic rifle is all the same color, but the grip and the stock are pretty close, but they are a different shade of OD green, as well as the weapon light. And then I have this cheap sling I bought off eBay, but it works great. The hardware is pretty stout. The quick detach are pretty stout. I mean, for what I paid for it, like 12, 15 bucks, I got two of them. They work great. This is a Primary Arms micro red dot on a fixed mount. Works well. Not an aim point, not an EOTech, but for my uses, it works well. It doesn't have the super long battery life that the newer ones have, because I've had this rifle for a while. So this was like, I think one of their first ones they released. So it has pretty good battery life. I guess it would last a couple days, but when I'm not using it, I just turn it off. When I am using it, I turn it on. Basically, these are some ARMS backup iron sights. I think they're airsoft version though, so I just kind of put them on there for shits and giggles. They seem to work okay. I mean, better than nothing, I guess. If I didn't have a red dot and I just had these sights, they'd be better than just aiming down the bore without sights. So they are sighting system, and for all intents and purposes, they've pretty much held zero with the red dot. I mean, so I don't see a real problem with it. Daniel Defense quick detach mount for my sling. It's not an anti-rotation, so I kind of like that because it helps you move the rifle around a little bit better. But just put it in there. This is actually probably, yeah, this is for the rear one, because you can turn this sling into a single point sling if you are so inclined. Ambi safety on the rifle, pretty good. Like a standard ambi safety, it's nothing too fancy or anything, but like it doesn't need to be fancy. It works, gets the job done. Standard charging handle. I'm probably gonna upgrade this at some point because I'm left-handed, and I would like to just grab it on the right side and charge it instead of having to do this kind of effort. I would like that. I staked the castle nut in place, so not that I had any issues, but I'm not going to change anything out on this rifle ever. I mean, it's exactly how I want it, and exactly how I'm going to keep it. If I could change anything, which I'm not, because I like the 16-inch barrel, would be to go with a 13.7-inch with a pinned and welded flash hider, just to have it. But I mean, this is a non-NFA item. 13.7 with a pinned and welded appropriate length flash hider would make it non-NFA. But if I want to change this out, I can just unscrew it and throw on anything else that I want. Works well the way it is, though. It's actually kind of a beefy rifle. I think it weighs like 9 pounds. And with a magazine, it weighs about 10. So, I mean, because the profile of the barrel is kind of stout, and then this doesn't have really, I mean, it has some lightning cuts, but it's a heavy handguard and standard full mass bullet carrier group, just phosphate. I don't need fancy coatings. Like, they're cool and all, but it works. This is a Fab Defense AR-15 stock. It will fit both the commercial and the mil-spec buffer tube. This is a commercial buffer tube because it's a DPMS lower. And at the time that they were making them, they came with commercial buffer tubes. They might still come with commercial, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure they make rifles anymore. But I bought this stock, and it has, like, it doesn't rattle much, like, especially when you put some pressure on it. It's pretty sturdy, and it doesn't have an extra locking system. It's a well-fitting stock for it being for commercial and mil-spec buffer tubes. It does have storage behind this rubber butt pad, which is pretty soft. Adds a little bit, but this is the position I keep it at. And it came with this cheek riser, which if you have a scope and you want to get a different eye relief, you can use that. But I just have it on there because I have it, and I think it looks better with the rifle having this on it than without it. Some people may say it interferes with the charging handle, and they'd be right. This does, but not at this position that I run my stock at. Like fully collapsed like that, yes, it will. But that's not how I run my stock. That's how I store it in bags when I take it down. But that's how I run it. I'm actually thinking of, if I didn't store it in bags, takedown bags and stuff, I'd think of limiting it from going all the way back, maybe by putting like a zip tie at this position and tighten it down so it can't go past that point. Just redneck ingenuity, I guess. I mean, stuff doesn't need to be fancy to work. Like, it is cool to have fancy stuff, but if it works, it works. It doesn't always have to be fancy. Like, this paint job is definitely not fancy. I could have definitely did a much better job applying the paint and stuff, but I figured it's gonna get beat up when I use it, and I think it gives that cool weathered look. I don't know if you can tell, but on the brass deflector and the Picatinny rail and magazine and just the wear areas where your hands are gonna go, the paint's wore off. Yeah, it's just my favorite rifle. It's kind of beat up, but it works great. It's accurate, reliable, kind of heavy, but like they're not toys. They're meant to be sturdy, and this one is certainly sturdy. And I guess that's about all I got. I like this weapon light. I like the ambidextrous safety. I'll probably change out the charging handle one day. I haven't really felt the need to do it because I'm not going into combat anytime soon, or probably ever. I enjoy shooting rifles, and I enjoy shooting this one the most for now. I do have a Galil SBR kit, so it's the SAR. It's a smaller version of the Galil, and I'm gonna turn it into an SBR. Probably first pistol, but then eventually SBR. And since the Galil was my favorite rifle, that'll probably be my favorite. I don't know. I mean, this is my first rifle that I've ever bought. Like it, period. Like I had a what's it called? Cowboy action revolver. Then I bought a Charter Arms 44 special revolver, and I still carry that from time to time. I'm more into Glocks now, and a shotgun, and then this. So, and I've since bought quite a few AR-15s and AKs and stuff since then. But to me, anytime I open my safe and I want to grab a rifle, this is the first one I grab, just because I just know it in and out. So I built it, and I know how each part functions well and works well, and overall, I just really like it. So that's what I got for you. It's my AR-15. I call it the mean green AR-15 because, well, obvious it's green. Yeah, that's all I got. As always, take it easy and live free.